I can't say don't trust. I'm just saying a lot of the people that are selling you something are exactly that, salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
And there's good ones and there's bad ones, just like people.
Yeah.
And it's you know just keep going until you find somebody that makes sense to you.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, long story, lots of important lessons. I hope those of you who are listening to this conversation will take heart. Whatever decision you make, we can provide you with information, advice, money if you need it, help with vendors. But it was, Dave, my great pleasure to work with you.
All right.
And really appreciate you. You chose us to.
I don't know too many people who wouldn't have hung around and answered questions for 3 years without at least asking for lunch.
No, I bought the lunch.
I know you did.
Yeah. But you know, if you have any questions for me or for Dave, if people wanted to contact you and get a reference
Sure.
about what we do, is that okay?
No problem.
All right. And we'll be back with more stories. Maybe we'll be back with some more for Dave. But the next time we meet, I hope it's in person, and I hope we'll be recording a successful conversation about a project that we work together. Thank you very much, friends.
And she said, "Oh, I have the perfect person for you." His name is Jim Freeman. From the get-go, Jim, you completely understood our situation. We're willing to, you know, I think one of the biggest and best skills that you had was being communicative with all of us. So in 3 months, it was sold. And I am floored that we were able to, you know, get the house emptied because there was so much stuff, get it completely cleaned, get repairs done. Joe's son, Chris, did a huge amount of repairs on the home and turned it into, you know, a really sellable property. And then Jim did his thing and got us a buyer. Everything went smoothly. I think the escrow was what, a 30-day, 35-day escrow or something like that.
Right.
It went quick. It went smoothly. There was no problems, but literally 3 months from signing the contract to the close of escrow. And that absolutely amazed me.
Well, so Lois helped you find the place that you liked,
Lois did a wonderful job.
and she provided you with different alternatives. So
Yes.
you were in control. You could make choices about where you
Absolutely.
wanted to go. And after that, Lois invited me to meet Kate, and I went to her home, and we had cookies and cherries, as I recall.
I don't recall that part, but now I do.
Yeah, cookies and cherries.
Fresh cherries.
And we sat at the table and we had a nice chat. And you know, it goes from there where we were coordinating and bringing in various disciplines, different professions to help movers, repair people, home inspectors, estate sale people, house cleaners, that sort of thing. All of that has to be coordinated. And I remember, Kate, at one time you made a remark, and I'm going to try to paraphrase it. You said, when you were thinking about this by yourself and talking to your family about it, you knew that you had to do all these things. And you were trying to figure out, well, how am I going to get people to do all of these things? And your answer was unprompted. You pay them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay them.
Yeah.
You know, because they're professionals and, you know, they have families to support. So the ultimate source of your ability to pay for all of that, plus your care needs now in this place that you love, was your home. You value your home.
Selling my home. Yep.
However, there's a problem. You know, if you're just sitting there in your home and you're trying to arrange all this, and people need to do the work now, they don't usually want to wait 2, 3, 4, 6 months
Right.
before they get paid. So it's important to have some liquidity in order to get the party started, you know, to pay people to do the things that are necessary. And how did we solve that problem?
We got me out. So I moved before any of the other stuff happened. I got it packed with the help of my niece, and then I moved. And everything happened the way it was supposed to, in the order it was supposed to, because I wasn't there changing my mind, which they tell me is a huge problem. And I had already made all the decisions about what was going where. And it ended, well, it happened. It didn't quite happen as fast as we wanted to, because the market changes as the year goes by and the seasons change. But we sold it, you sold it, for a lovely price. And now I am in the place where I'm at till,
Well,
till when?
what I'm referring to is we needed money before your home closed. Before you got,
I'm sorry,
before
yes.
you got the money,
Right.
from the sale of your home. So, so I provided with one of my investors a loan, which we call a transition loan, to help Kate pay for all these expenses which she needed to pay for before her home sale closed, and she had the money to reimburse that. So that was a key factor, because without it, we wouldn't have been
Right.
able to engage all of these various professionals to come in and do the work that we
Right.
need to do. And how did that go?
That went fine.
Yeah.
And that was probably the key to the whole thing, was having you as the interim person who knew what was going to happen, reaching out to everybody and bringing us all together and keeping us together in a logical fashion, so that we knew what was going on. And we knew also that all we needed to do was pick up the phone or send an email and we would get an answer.
Like I said, I have sold 5 houses, and Jim's been the best real estate agent I've ever worked with, and thank God for him.
Yeah, well, thank God for you. Thanks, Donna. I appreciate it. What had happened?
Well, my mother had passed, and there were a lot of challenges there, and she had a friend that was living in the house who didn't feel like she wanted to move out. We had other family members in the house that created complications. I was introduced to Jim more to help with resources for transitioning people. Although that she wasn't going to a retirement home, there were still resources he had, such as cleaning the house or retail options, or not retail, I would say that's realtor options. And it's not exactly like I do this on a regular basis. So he was a good resource for a lot of things that I was looking for. We initially met, I liked his approach. It was low key but informative, and started working with him. Neither one of us realized it would be 3 years until this thing was completed. But honestly, it was a journey, one I hope to never ever take again. But he was very valuable during that course of time.
So they still have quite a few things, but it took months to go through that stuff.
Right. Well, and you had had discussions with a number of different people in the estate sale business and
Yes.
all this. And when I came into the picture, Russ and Carol had already moved,
Yes, they were already out.
and they were living in it was a nice community
It was.
with a nice apartment.
Mhm.
But I could tell they were still struggling with just the fact of leaving their home.
Yes.
And you were struggling with the problem of what to do with the stuff. And,
Yes.
And so we invited a company called Blue Nest Home
They were excellent.
to come in. And why don't you describe a little bit what they did and how they went about things?
They were fantastic, actually. I mean, they took everything out of my hands. We went through everything, made sure Russ and Carol got everything out of the house that they wanted to keep. And they went through after that and organized everything, put everything together in like lots. Got rid of the garbage that was there. Figured out what would sell, what wouldn't sell, and they sold things that I would have thrown away in a heartbeat. That's garbage. No, they got good money for this stuff, so it was excellent.
Yeah.
They were fantastic. They came in and they did everything and took it completely out of my hands. such a burden to be lifted. You have no idea.
Oh, I do know. That's why I recommend them. But
I thought they were great.
yeah, but you didn't know about that.
I did not.
About what they do, or that people like that existed.
I had heard that there's people who will come in and auction the stuff, but I didn't realize that they were going to come in and go through everything and organize it and put it in lots and
Take pictures and write descriptions. And,
It was great. Yeah, they were there for the pickup day when people came and picked stuff up, and then after that, they continued on and got rid of the things that were left, got the garbage cleared out.
right.
They would have done some cleaning, but we went ahead and took that on ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, what they did was fantastic. I would recommend them to anybody. In
So-
fact, I have recommended them to people already.
Good.
So,
Good. Excellent. Yeah. So it took a while, but we got through it. And do you think Russ and Carol were happy with the result?
I think they're very happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they're glad. Actually glad to be out of it and not have the nagging feeling in the back of their head as we still have this house we can go back to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping at this point they can really release that house and move forward and enjoy their life.
Okay.
A lot went into this. Like I said, top to bottom on this was 3 years, and a lot of sanity kind of went out the window a little bit. And that beat me down physically, without a doubt. But at the end, we got top dollar for it.
Well, and it looked great.
It did.
When you walked in the door, but another important thing about the decisions that we discussed and that you made, knowing what levels of finish to walk to,
Right.
that's all important. But the most important thing is to prepare the house so that the home itself can qualify for different types of financing programs like VA, FHA,
That's why the
conventional.
roof and the furnace had to go, be
Yes,
replaced.
Exactly,
Right?
that's right. And why is that? Well, the reason is that if you want to sell to people who want to live in that home, 80% of those buyers have to borrow money to buy it from you.
Right.
And if you can't qualify, if the home can't qualify for those various loan programs, it's game's over. The only options you have are cash or to investors.
Right.
But you decided at a point in time that you wanted to go the whole way.
Well, I didn't say I made that decision up front. I think it kept sneaking up behind me. Well, if you did that, how about, oh no,
Yeah.
I've got to do this too. But the advantage was that I did have the ability to do a lot of this stuff, and that's what really gave it the finished look.
Right.
Because I could put the time into it, and quite frankly, contractors are tough because finding a good one. There wasn't one contractor I didn't have to call out on something, or multiple things, and they had to come back and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a challenge to go that route,
It is.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
It really is. And then if you're going to be the general contractor, you got to be on top of these people, and you got to know what you're talking about and what you're looking at. So I'm not sure it would have been the best path for me had I not had my history, honestly.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But some of the investors that we spoke with, we had different programs.
Right.
Some people would just offer you a price. Here's the price. I'll buy it. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's called a cash offer. And then we have two advances. You get an initial amount of cash, and then you get some later. And the investors actually invest their own money. They run the remodeling. They make all the decisions. And if there's anything left over, at the end, you get a portion of that.
Right. I kind of refer to those as corporate flippers, not the one single guy you think about coming to get a house, but this is a business. So they come in, they send the guy, and they go, we need to get this, and this, and this done.
And do it by this date, and by this
and then
standard.
we're just going to sell it.
Yeah.
And then they give you cash up front, so that makes you liquid. So
Right.
that's actually, you're not going to get top dollar for the house, but considering some of the options, which can be daunting,
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad way to go.
Well, if you don't have the money and
Right.
you don't have 550 hours to put into the house over a
Right.
couple of years, it's a pretty good way to go.
That was actually the last 3 months. Don't make it sound like I was milking it.
Well, but you put in time.
I did, yes, correct.
Trying to
So
organize
that,
things, yeah.
I could have seen that as a viable option to get some money out of the house with somebody who did have some resources and some cash, and would make you liquid during the process, correct?
Right. But you made a decision, and although there were obstacles, there's obstacles to every decision, but the path you chose was an arduous one. but you hung in there. I mean, you went through the whole thing, you stuck with it. I was really proud of you, and so.
I called you a few times,
Yeah.
thinking I don't know if I can keep doing this. It's just like, and maybe this is it. And then the thing I guess that really surprised me the most out about the whole process was that I still wasn't done. The sink wasn't in. There was
Right.
still this and that. But I had the lawn all cleaned up and the roofs and all the major stuff done. But you wanted to list it on the market, which surprised me. But I said, okay, they'll be hanging out there. You put it on the market, and it sold literally the next day. And now I'm the bad guy because the house isn't ready to sell. Thanks for that.
Well, you weren't the bad guy.
Well, I says, come on, Dave, you
Yeah.
got to get this done. Okay, that's 650 hours. All right, yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of good communication throughout the process. You were great, by the way, in making decisions and listening to what was going on and deciding what to do. It happened, pretty smoothly, really. I mean, compared to some. And so comparing the way things were immediately before your move and compared to now, how do you feel about it? I mean, is it better, worse, good, bad?
Well, part of the comparison is the experience of talking to other people about their other experiences, and mine was really slick. It just went very smoothly. Nothing got lost in the move, nothing got broken in the move. I had stuff I needed to still get rid of, but that went easily too because the staff here helped me with that. I really experienced no difficulties. The difficulty was me making up my mind to do this and to stop fretting about it and just to decide to do it. I started having physical problems. I had problems walking with balance. I started requiring different surgeries, and I wasn't able to do a lot of things that were deeply important to me, like driving and walking my dogs. And then I started having problems with my hands, so I was not comfortable cooking. Cooking took a tremendous physical effort and psychological effort to make sure I didn't drop what I was cooking on the stove or on the dog or on the cat. So I realized that I needed to make a change, but I didn't know how that was done. And the more I thought about it, the more frightened I got by the expensive mistake I could make in making a wrong decision. So I called my insurance company and they said, we have the perfect person for you, who then introduced me to more perfect people, who introduced me to Jim, who introduced me to his whole team, and helped coordinate and pull this together. It happened quickly. It actually happened very smoothly. Everything happened as it was supposed to. There were no terrible rude awakenings. My house sold in a reasonable period of time for a reasonable amount of money.
But overall, based on your experience, so looking back and just briefly describing, what would you say was good about it, and was there anything we could improve?
You were actually always very easy to get a hold of, which was wonderful. I knew I'm not a phone person, as if you can't tell over the last 5 or 6 months. I prefer email just because I know the person can get back to me as soon as they can.
Right.
And you were always very responsive. On the whole thing was just, I have nothing bad to say about any of it, honestly. It was fairly easy, which is, I never thought selling a house would be I could say it was fairly easy. No, as what you did as far as bringing in Blue Nest was exceptional. Having people to reach out to help us.
Right.
In all aspects. I mean, even all the way down to when we had work to do. I know you talked to Mike and gave him numbers or people, and we ended up going with some of those,
Yeah.
and they came out right away. So you're obviously using people who are responsive, which is great. No, I have nothing negative to say at all.
Okay.
Everything was great. As far as making it easier, the only thing I would say to make it easier or better would be Get me full price and no closing costs.
Get what I want with no argument. But, well, once again, that's the discussion part.
Yeah.
The buyers have a say in
Right,
it
yes.
as well.
It was always their final decision, so.
Right. Okay, well, Terry, thank you very much. And
Absolutely.
would you recommend us to
I
other
would
people?
absolutely recommend it.
Okay.
They do a great job. Have all the information you need, and if not, you
You
know where
find
to
it.
get it. Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. Okay, well,
I
good job.
appreciate everything.
I appreciate
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to work with you, and I hope it won't be the last time.
Well, I'm trying to get my house sold, so.
All right. So, thanks, friends. We'll see you on the next one.
I did not feel the need to call anyone else. I didn't even call another realtor because I was like, okay, this guy gets it. You know, he deals with this. He's dealt with these exact types of situations before, you know, where it can get a little sticky, you know, with older people moving out of their homes into care facilities. And he gets it. Yeah, working with you has been great. I am thankful that we found you, because I didn't know anybody up there. It was just a stroke of luck. I did not feel the need to call anyone else. I didn't even call another realtor because I was like, okay, this guy gets it. You know, he deals with this. He's dealt with these exact types of situations before, you know, where it can get a little sticky, you know, with older people moving out of their homes into care facilities. And